Hey guys, this is Kristen from Kristen Coaching. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me for my video today. I'm going to be doing as many Facebook Live videos as I can, but hopefully at least weekly. All of you have been asking me some really amazing and relevant relationship questions. And so I obviously am going to try to get back to you if you email me these questions personally, but I can't always do that. So the ones that I can't get back to, I'm going to be saving for these Facebook Live videos so I can answer them in front of all of you, because I think your questions that you're asking are really relevant and really important and related to a lot of relationships out there. So a lot of people could have these same exact questions and need help with these same exact issues. So I wanted to take this time and answer some questions for you. And if you have any questions throughout this Facebook Live video, feel free to type it in. I'll answer them. You know, and this is just going to be a really relaxed, kind of nonchalant question and answer forum. And before I dive into it, I want to let all of you know, in case you don't know already, that I am not only a relationship coach and licensed therapist. I have been in my relationship with my partner for over 16 years. And I have developed a passion to be a relationship coach because really inspired by my personal relationship, because it wasn't always healthy and it definitely wasn't always easy, and there's still aspects of our relationship that we do work on every single day to make it as good and as solid as it can be. And I have been through really hard times, and I want to help you guys get through those hard times as well, so you can make it to 16 plus years with your partner, because it is possible no matter what you go through. Whether it's trust issues, communication, intimacy, respect issues in the relationship, you can get through it. If I can get through the things that I've been through, you can get through the things that you've been through. So I want to teach you things that I have learned, things that I have been taught, not only in my professional educational field, but in my personal life as well. So I hope that I will be able to help you guys through these things and instill some wisdom upon you while we do it. Okay, so I have a list of amazing questions that you guys asked me, so we're just going to dive right into it and answer the first one. So I have them over here, so I'm going to be looking away. So the first question is, when trust has been broken, how long does it take to get back? I think this is a really great question. I think a lot of people really struggle with trust when in a relationship, especially when it has been broken. And my answer for you is trust takes a long time to rebuild. And, that depends on how damaged that the trust has been in the first place. If we're talking infidelity and cheating, that's a really, really big break of trust and takes a long time to get back. I also think that trust is really on a spectrum. There's definitely small amounts of trust that you can get back in shorter amount of times. But I think a full-hearted, wholehearted trust really takes a lot of work from both you and your significant other, and takes a lot of time to patch up between you guys. So it is not an overnight process, and trust is not something that you're able to rebuild at all overnight. So I really want you guys to be patient when it comes to rebuilding trust, but it definitely takes two people to be working on that. Trust is one of the hard things to rebuild in a relationship, but it is possible. And I think a lot of people, when they have that break of trust, they feel like they're never going to be able to get that back again. They're never going to get to a place where they can trust their other partner, rely on their other half to, have that solid, happy relationship again. But I am here to tell you that it is possible. And my relationship went through that as well. And I am so happy to say that our trust in our relationship is so solid. But it has taken a lot of work. And so I want to help you guys with that as well in terms of rebuilding that trust. So it takes a long time to rebuild depending on how bad the trust has been broken, but you can do it. It just takes effort. So I'm talking for sure months and sometimes even years, again, depending on how ruptured it has been. But you got to work on it. You got to focus on it. Good morning, Heidi. Thank you so much for joining me. It's good to see you. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question. And another question that you guys had is, should I be looking through my partner's phone? Okay, so that's a really good question. Again, I think this has to do with trust issues in the relationship. So basically, I mean, I think my question would be, why are you feeling the need to look through your partner's phone? I mean, I've been there myself, trust me, especially when a relationship was rocky and I wasn't trusting him, he wasn't trusting me. I really did have this intense desire to look through his phone, see text messages, see phone calls. Of course, I was looking for any other girls that he might have been communicating with at the time. But that being said, and although I did have my moments where I did, look through it a little bit, it wasn't a healthy place to be in. And so I just say that for you, because if you're feeling the need to be looking through your partner's phone, obviously there are some trust issues there, and there's some things that you are unable to just be asking your partner, or maybe you're not trusting your partner for whatever his answer is going to be, so you feel the need to take it on yourself and do it. And that's a really hard place to be in. I really think that looking through your partner's phone is a symptom of how the relationship is going right now. I haven't done that in years. I haven't needed to, but during our rocky times, I did. So if you're doing that now, it's telling me that you guys are having a really hard time, trusting each other, or maybe you're trusting him, he's not trusting you, whatever that looks like. So I don't want you to have to go through your partner's phone. I don't think, I really don't think it helps. I mean, really what you're going to do if you do find something is you're going to find something. Most likely it's going to be just a suspicious thing, like, who's this girl? What did she say? And it's going to cause an argument. It's going to cause a fight. And so, it's really not 100% helpful. I think people do it because they think that it's going to alleviate some anxiety, and they're going to hope that, there's nothing to find there. But oftentimes people do find something, and even if it's not a huge deal, but it turns into a big deal. People get upset that your partner has looked through your phone. It can be a break of trust to be looking through each other's phone very secretively. So I don't think that's necessarily the best thing to do. And I think it's a symptom of how your relationship is going. So I just caution you to not do that, and to be able to talk to your partner directly about your concerns about the relationship and have that open line of communication, because that's really important. Okay, we're going to go on to the next question. And this one has to do with, how do I get him to open up to me? And that's a really hard one as well, because, especially in relationships, right, we need to have that open line of communication, that back and forth. And, I definitely don't want to be stereotypical, but I do know that a lot of times women are a lot more in tune with maybe emotions, stereotypically, and are more comfortable just expressing themselves. And so it's not uncommon for people to be in relationships and to be with other people who are more closed off emotionally, or just don't express themselves on such an open manner. And so I think that it's hard to be able to get your other half to communicate and open up, but it is possible. And I think the way to do that is to be keeping those lines of communication open. Start off the conversation by saying how you're feeling about things. Hey honey, I'm feeling this way, blah, blah, blah. And open the floor, just be like, so what's going on with you? It doesn't need to be like a direct specific question, but just like, tell me what's going on with you. And that gives your other half some space to be able to open up. But not just that, you need to be able to reciprocate the explanation or the information that he's giving you without judgment, without attacking, and really just being completely open and open to what he has to say or she has to say without being judgmental. Because I think a lot of times when people are shut off in terms of their communication and their expression of emotions, they're doing so because they might not feel safe in the relationship. So you need to do your best as a partner in the relationship to allow your other half to feel safe. Hey Heather, how you doing? Good to see you. That's my cousin. Anyways, you need to be able to allow your other half to feel safe to be able to express themselves. Because if you're just going to be attacking, or you're just going to be saying things and shutting the other person down, your other half is not going to be wanting to talk to you about things and isn't going to be wanting to express themselves. So you have to make sure there's safe, energetic space in the relationship in order for you guys to be able to communicate. Because if one person's saying things and the other person is, attacking them back or being mean back, that person who wants to say something is not going to is going to learn really quickly to stop talking, okay? So you have to create that space in the relationship and make sure it's safe to do so. So I really hope that you guys every night, at least for 10 to 15 minutes, I want you guys to do this alone. You know, maybe it's before bed, or maybe you guys are driving in the car somewhere. You know, create some time where you guys can actually talk about things. You can start it off talking about your feelings, if that is more comfortable for you, if you're more comfortable doing that, and be like, hey, you know, what's going on with you? I want to know how you feel about it. And just giving your other half just some time to do it. And I think the more you can open up the floor to your significant other, the more your significant other is going to have the opportunity to talk back, especially if your significant other feels safe doing so. Okay, so we're going to get to the next question, which has to do with, how do I not let my insecurities get in the way of intimacy? And that is a really, really good question, you guys. Intimacy is definitely a hard thing to get past in a relationship, especially when you have some intimacy issues. And a lot of times women have, and men too, have a lot of insecurities. Whether it's maybe we're not really 100% satisfied with our bodies, or we just maybe don't know how to be in the bedroom, physically with our other halves. And there could be a lot of insecurities and timidness and something that's going to make you just feel that you can't get that, physical connection with your other half as comfortably as you want to. I think a way to overcome intimacy is you got to get secure with yourself. You got to know that you have a lot of amazing things and amazing aspects, characteristic traits, qualities that you're bringing into the relationship. Obviously your other half is there for a reason. Your other half is with you in a relationship with you for a reason. And so it's really important to own how you are, to own how you look, to own how you feel, and be as confident as possible. And that really does help overcome some insecurities. I think overcoming insecurities is 100% a process as well. It's not something that just happens overnight. I've been with my partner for 16 years and I still struggle with my insecurities as well. It is a human thing, and it's something that we do all the time. We're constantly comparing ourselves to other people or other couples, and it can be really hard and you can feel really insecure at times, but it is a process, and you got to keep trying to get past it and own who you are and own your beauty and own what you bring into the relationship and bring on the table, and to really just try to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. And I think the more you do it, the less anxious you're going to feel about it. But you have to be having those intimate times as often as possible so you can get used to that and get used to putting yourself out there. So I think it is a process, and it's not something that happens naturally. It does take time, but I do want to let you know that it is possible to overcome insecurities. I definitely have as well. And I think having a partner who is validating for you and telling you, how much they love you, how beautiful you are, and, giving you all those positive things that we need to hear sometimes can be really helpful as well. And it's hard if we don't have a partner that does that. So I hope that your partner does, or at least says some positive compliments here and there, because I think that's very important. Okay, and then the last question that I have that I'm going to be answering for this week is, this one's a hard one. This one is, how do I get him to stop cheating and want to only be with me? So my answer to that one is, unfortunately, you cannot stop anybody doing what they are going to do. At the end of the day, we have no control over our other halves. And I know that might not be an answer that you want to hear, but it's honest. And so we cannot control other people. So if your partner is, cheating, and especially constantly cheating, they are 100% being disrespectful to you and disrespectful to the relationship. And in order to get your other half to be faithful and not be cheating on you and just be focused and loyal to the relationship, they're going to need to stop wanting to. I think it's really important that whoever is doing the cheating needs to understand why they're doing it in the first place. What is their motivation for the cheating? And really figuring out, is that really what is making them happy? Is that something that they want to do? I do have to say, oftentimes in relationships, when it comes to infidelity, especially certain indiscretions that don't last ongoing, people can people can feel really guilty about infidelity and cheating, and stop doing that and really focus on the relationship and understand that the reason that they cheated was about themselves and wasn't necessarily about the other person. Oftentimes cheating does not have to do with their partner. It has to do with themselves. But there's people who are chronic cheaters who are unfaithful over and over and over again with multiple women. And that's really something to look at, because if you're going to be doing that all the time with other women, obviously the person who is being unfaithful is not really self-reflecting on themselves about why they're doing certain things and what is motivating them to do that. So you cannot stop your other half if they're being unfaithful, but you can let them know how it's affecting you and how it's affecting the relationship. You can let them know how much it pains you and how much that you really want to be working on this relationship, and that you need your other half's participation to do that. You need your other half's buy-in to say, okay, I am not going to be unfaithful to you anymore. I'm loyal to you. I want to work on this with you. Relationships are all about partnership. Hi, Tiffany. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Relationships are all about partnership. It takes two people to work on a relationship. So you cannot be doing this alone. Your partner cannot be doing this alone. Whatever issue that you have, whatever issue that you need to work on, it needs to be both of you guys committed to it and putting effort into it. The most frustrating thing in a relationship, and a thing that really makes couples fight and argue and even break up, is when one person is putting in all the effort and the other person is doing nothing. That's not going to work. It is a partnership. It is a team, and both of you need to be trying to better yourselves and make yourselves better. Every single day in my relationship for the past 16 years, I have been working on me. I've been working on being the best partner that I can be for my significant other. And it is not a perfect ride, and I am an imperfect person, and I understand that, but I'm trying. And I think the point is that I need you guys to be trying as well, because you can make it to 16 plus years. You can make it into that happy, healthy connection that you guys have always wanted, but it takes efforts on both parts. It takes that open line of communication. It takes the rebuilding of that trust. It takes that mutual respect in the relationship. And then it also takes that level of intimacy. If all three of those things can be good, then that intimacy is going to be strong as well. Usually if your intimacy is down, it's because your respect, your trust, or your communication is down as well. So I want you guys to do your best to try to work on things in the relationship. You can't just coast by and hope that things are going to improve. I mean, yeah, there might be little things that you can kind of ignore and move on, but big things like this in the relationship, core foundations that make your relationship healthy, if they're not healthy now, they're not going to get healthy by just time. It is an active effort that you guys have to work on every single day. And I'm grateful that I myself work on them, and I have a partner who's willing to work on them as well. So a lot of times, if we want to model for our other half how to communicate, how to be respectful, how to trust, we have to do those things ourselves. We have to model what it is like for our other halves to do it, and our other halves will usually get on board if they deem the relationship to be important and start doing these behaviors back and this modeling type of behavior back. So you got to start somewhere. You got to do it first if your other half isn't going to do it, and you're going to hope that your other half gets on board. And if not, you're going to tell your significant other how you feel about that. You're going to let them know that, hey, I'm trying. I'm putting in all this effort. I'm not feeling like it's reciprocal back. How do we work on it? How do I get your buy-in as well? Because it takes two to tango, and this is a team effort. So see right there, I had to give an example of how you're going to be communicative, how you're going to have to communicate with your other half if things aren't going right. So you got to keep that lines of communication open. So if you weren't able to see all of these questions and answers, don't worry. Once I post this live, you'll be able to go back and see the questions that I answered for you. I want you guys to really watch this again over and over and over again, especially if any of these questions that I did answer relate to your relationship, because I think these are going to be really helpful for you in terms of having that happy, healthy, long-lasting relationship. And I'm sorry you feel that way, Tiffany. I hear you. If you If you feel like you are the only one working on things in the relationship and trying to make it work, that can be a really lonely and isolating place to be in. But it's not going to get better if you don't tell your other half how you feel about that and the impact that that's not only having on you, but the impact that it's having on your relationship. So you have to be able to express what you need in the relationship and what you want out of him, which really just sounds like some effort, some buy-in, you know, some demonstrating that he is working on things and he is trying as well. So you got to be able to say that to him and communicate that, because if you keep that inside, you're just modeling that unhealthy communication. You know, we got to be modeling always how we want our other halves to be treating us and how we want our other halves to be treating the relationship. So I hope that you'll be able to be honest with your significant other and tell them how you feel, and you know, be vulnerable and take that leap to do that. I wish you the best. You know, and anybody can always email me at thisischristencoaching@gmail.com. Ask me questions. If I have time, I'm going to definitely get back to you personally in the email, but anything that I don't have time on, I'm going to bring them into these Facebook Live videos every week and answer them for you. And Tiffany, I'm so glad you're going to be doing what we talked about. Wonderful. Best of luck to you. And let me know how it goes, okay? Definitely keep me updated. I know you can do it. You have a lot of self-awareness and you're very strong. So you gotta know that, and you gotta keep trying. You know, we keep trying until it works or it doesn't, you know, but we got to keep putting effort into our relationship every single day. You know, the relationships that are neglected, the relationships that just coast by are not going to get better. They're not going to, you know, make your guys' situation healthy. You have to keep trying, and both of you need to be doing that. So getting on that same page, putting in that effort is what's going to make you guys happy, healthy, able to last 16 plus years, just like I have. Okay, so thank you so much again for joining me, you guys. I'm going to see you next week for my question and answers. So if you have any questions you want me to address, email me at thisischristencoaching@gmail.com, and we'll be talking about it in our next Facebook Live video. And thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Best of luck to all of you and your relationships. Get out there, do your best. Try, get that communication, that trust, that respect, that intimacy strong. And I know that you guys are going to have a much happier, healthy relationship as a result, okay? Thank you guys, and I will see you next week. And thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.